All right, so the lovely Ivana has been looking at some light reading here on her phone as we fly to Johannesburg, which apparently is number 5 in the world, most dangerous places. Let's see, because a lot of times as a tourist, you don't experience that. So let's see what happens in Johannesburg.
I hope not.
We're about to fly. To be clear, before we went to Brazil the first time, we were very nervous.
Yeah.
Brazil's not safe or something. But in the end, Brazil is our favorite country in the world to travel to. We've been there 5 times. So sometimes it's just the impression, not the reality. Let's go explore Johannesburg. Time to fly. Half liter Stella Artois draft in an airport, $3 American.
Wow.
This trip is off to a good start.
This is actually, I think, the cheapest airport. I was thinking of getting a light breakfast here for $49 with 2 eggs, bacon, toast, and tomatoes. That's pretty good.
Get it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the airport in Cape Town is seriously one of my favorites in the whole world. First of all, the cheap beer goes a long way. But even more importantly than that, the entire wall in front of the gate is all glass. So you're sitting there eating affordable food, drinking affordable beer, and you're watching the planes go up and down. There's no better way to get excited and get some anticipation for your upcoming trip than watching the planes go up and down and thinking, oh, I'm gonna be boarding one of these planes very quickly. Now on top of that, the minute we got on the plane, we collected baby Jean's seatbelt naturally, and right on cue, she fell asleep for the entire flight, which is so convenient for us. And so our trip to Johannesburg was off to a very good start.
Made it to Johannesburg.
Raining over here.
Yeah,
What do you think? Fly somewhere else or what? Welcome to Josie. Hey, just like Canada, welcomed by sports betting. Home sweet home. Right, we've made it to our accommodation here in Johannesburg, where the front door is about 500 pounds. But look at this place. Lights under the cabinets in the kitchen. Balcony. What am I, rich? Who's paying for this, Ivana? Can we afford this one? This is a good place.
I'm paying for it.
Oh boy. This is your bedroom here. Looks very nice and fancy. Why is there a sink over here? Oh, this is the bathroom right there.
And there's another bathroom, 2 bathrooms.
Wait a second, 2 bathrooms? How many bathrooms
1.5.
does a man need?
Here's a toilet.
Oh yeah, that's a shower over there and then a toilet over here. So it's basically 1 bathroom split into 2 parts. You got 2 half bathrooms, making 1 bathroom. Good place. So, Ivana, it's raining right now,
Yeah.
but I think it's gonna stop raining any second now, according to Google. So let's hit the streets. And so here is our street. We're actually staying right across from this building, which looks like it's the central bank or something. But believe it or not, I believe it's a gin factory or a gin company. Something to do with gin. Despite the fact that it looks like $1 million, this place. And so, let's go. And so our neighborhood is called Rosebank, and my expectation is if we are walking around during the daytime, it looks to be a very nice place. Although I would guess if we wander off track to a different neighborhood at a bad time of day, it could be a little rough. So we're gonna keep today's trip on the straight and narrow, keep everything safe. Let's go. In fact, you gotta love a neighborhood where the trees are taller than the apartments. That makes it feel like it's very green and very relaxed and not so hustle and bustle with the skyrise buildings, right? Nice neighborhood with the mature trees. Actually, this whole neighborhood is so nice. There's a bunch of nice, like malls, I guess that looks like a mall with restaurants in the bottom and greenery everywhere. And everybody walking around looks pretty well-to-do. A lot of business people. This is good stuff over here. This is a good place. And this is the thing about a country like this. In Canada, a similar type place, so beautiful like this, the price would not be that for lunch. That's a good price for such a nice area. That's a good thing about a country like South Africa. If you're in the right place, you can find great value. So I don't know why, but I really thought Nando's chicken was from Portugal, which is wrong. It is in fact created by a South African guy, but when we walked in the front door of this place, the sign says Bom dia, which is good day in Portuguese.
Right.
So I go, no, I was right all along. But actually, it was made by a South African guy who went to Portugal, ate some chicken in Portugal.
No.
No.
He went to a Portuguese restaurant here in South Africa.
African guy who went to a Portuguese restaurant and then made this chicken. Anyway, I'm sure you guys heard of it because it's so famous. It's all over Canada. I think I've seen it in Europe. I think it's in Asia too.
Yeah.
Nando's is big business. So I guess the guy's name is Fernando. That's why it's called Nando's. Anyway, they're gonna bring it to us right now. Let's see. Who doesn't like chicken and sauce? That's good. And so I tell you what, guys. I'm just being honest. Nando's in South Africa is not good. We decided to just fast forward this whole scene because we're trying to make it good, but it's just not good, man. It's not yummy. Final review of Nando's in Johannesburg. Not that good, to be honest.
It's not that special.
Man, we only had this once before. It was years ago in Malaysia, but it was good back then.
It is better in Malaysia.
I don't really remember everything about it, but I remember it being like nicely arranged with like different sides, and it was really delicious. This one was very fast foody.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 stars in the end. All right, the journey continues. And so, if you guys have been following along with our Africa series, you'll know that last week was Ethiopia. This week is South Africa. And what I can add to the itinerary is next we're going to Rwanda, and then we're going to Kenya. So it's a bunch of traveling for us and a bunch of places we have not been before, which is why we are so grateful for Holafly eSIM, because it's tremendously easy to use. All we did was we used the Holafly app. To be clear, you can also use the website, but we used the Holafly app to select the country we're going to and the dates we're going, which is totally customizable. And then we purchased and installed our eSIM, and voila, our phone is now connected to high-speed data in one of more than 200 destinations they offer. And we were so happy to learn about the regional eSIM they offer. So right now we're actually connected to the Africa regional eSIM. To be fair, they have more than just one region. There's Asia and Europe and Latin America, the list goes on. But very convenient for us with our itinerary to have a regional eSIM. Now, Holafly also offers something called Holafly Plans, which is a monthly subscription, and that will automatically hook up your phone to high-speed data in more than 160 destinations, which is truly the best for a world traveler. We use the unlimited plan, but they also offer a 25 gigs plan, and there's a feature called Always On, which means if you run out of data, they give you 1 bonus gig of data to get you out of any emergency situation. So really what Holafly offers for us and for travelers is peace of mind. So we are super grateful to have Holafly sponsoring today's video. The eSIM has hotspot, which is so convenient to put multiple devices, and we got to keep our same WhatsApp number every time we go to a new country, which is hugely convenient. So use the promo code you see on the screen to get your Holafly eSIM. You can save some money, and we want to give a big thanks to the best eSIM for travel, Holafly. Now let's get back to the video. All right, story time. Because on this channel we have posted something like 1,400 videos, and exactly one video we posted it, and like a week later we ended up deleting it because we thought it wasn't good. And I don't mean the quality wasn't good, I mean like it wasn't decent. And that video was a favela tour in Brazil. We went through the favela, we made a video, and unintentionally the video ended up being something referred to as poverty porn, we thought. Which means the entire summation of the video basically was, oh my gosh, look at these people, they're very poor. We didn't feel good about the way it came out. And so the backdrop of our Brazilian series, we have like 150 Brazilian videos. They're all tremendously positive. It's like our favorite country to travel to. But this video just didn't have any utility or any purpose. We weren't proud of it. And so I bring this up because right now we're about to do a tour in a place called Soweto, which is here in Johannesburg, and for lack of a better term, I believe Soweto to be sort of like a favela. So Yvonne and I are a bit nervous for this, but we think this time should be okay because Soweto is certainly historic. The tour we're on should be taking us to parts that are colorful, vibrant. We're hoping there's some sort of uplifting. We're hoping there's more to the video, or this experience rather, than just, oh gosh, look at how unfortunate some people live. So we're a bit nervous, but we invite you to come along with us as we explore Soweto and check the tourism potential. By the way, we'll be touring around in some tuk-tuks, which I guess is sort of fun. So let's go see Sout Western Township, also known as Soweto. So, for example, these houses here do not have running water.
No,
They have a bucket system
it's a bucket.
where they're gonna fetch water from a source elsewhere. All right, Soweto was started in 1905, believe it or not, from the bubonic plague, because the government forced a bunch of people to move out of Johannesburg to avoid overcrowding, and naturally they moved the poorest people. And a lot of that poverty you can still see here today. Now you fast forward till 1948, and Apartheid begins, where the government again moved a bunch of people to Soweto. This time it was black people. And if you fast forward till now, there's 3 million people living in Soweto, which is a huge number, and some of them are still living in original apartheid homes. Wave, say hi. These are original apartheid homes that were quite often 4 rooms and 16 people. Now, right beside that neighborhood is this government housing. Looks very nice. Brick buildings with glass windows. And if you can believe it, every single unit here is empty. Because the people that live literally right here, where we just were, they cannot afford their rent to live here. So it's supposed to be free housing, but then some corruption or something happened in the government where they set the rent too high, and this is all empty, which is very painful to hear. Empty. Over here, empty, empty, empty. Right beside a neighborhood where it's just quite sad. Right here, people live with no running water in their house. And across the road is government buildings that are empty. Running water and toilets there, but nobody lives there. Empty for 16 years.
Opposite.
Right across the road. One thing you notice when you go to a place that's tremendously poor, there's so many people around just sitting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Evidently, the unemployment rate in Soweto is 60%,
Wow.
which is crazy high. And that's what you notice when you go around. So many people who just look to be just existing.
Right.
Nothing to do. Maybe they'll make their own little shop or store, try and sell something, because they're trying to make a job or make an opportunity because there's just no opportunity. Now, not every part of Soweto is like that. To be fair, that's some of the most poverty we've seen in our lives. In fact, a lot of people are quite proud to be from here. It's funny that tuk-tuk, the front of it says like, I heard Soweto, it's all nice, painted and everything, because there is a middle class over here.
Right.
With nicer homes, substantially better. There's even an area they call the Beverly Hills of Soweto. Not sure we're going there today, but it's all 3 million people together. Some of them, like we saw, tremendously poor, but other parts of it, more commercial and stores and nicer homes. So
Inqaba, inqaba okweqabule vini. Yaqhawe uqhoqhoqho. Okweqabule igqibela komgqibela.
Wow.
Ishelele.
What did you just say?
So, but you know, whenever we speak, our language has clickings in it. The click, yeah. Instead of Q, we say X is C is.
Ah.
So those are the clickings.
inqaba.
Inqaba.
That's cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. So in
Bar.
Aba.
I'm doing it wrong.
Or E.
E Aba.
In
E
Aba.
Aba. And we're drinking the ginger beer, traditional ginger beer, non-alcoholic.
Okay, so the tour is over. Now the tour was 2 hours long, but it honestly felt like it was 15 minutes.
Right.
I guess they say time flies when you're having fun, but it wasn't all that fun overall. It's kind of heavy, but time flew past.
Yeah.
So I think it was overall a very good experience. It's funny that in Brazil, on the thing I mentioned before, at the very beginning of the tour guide said, this tour we're going on in the favela is like a safari. Because normally on a safari, you see wild animals, but we're gonna see some wild animal type people. And it's very sad. I didn't like when he said that. But it's so funny that on this tour, the tour guide, he said the same metaphor, opposite. He said, guys, I want you to know we're not going on safari. We're not gonna be in the tuk-tuk just staring at wild people. We're gonna be learning and meeting people and blah, blah, blah. And so this tour was very good compared to the one in Brazil. I would recommend this tour.
Yeah, we learned a lot about South Africa.
We learned a lot. I'm not sure I have a great personality to make a video about this stuff because it just feels sad. I just want to just say, this sucks. I don't know what to say the whole time other than this is sad. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
It's a chest.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I mean, imagine being born in a place where during the daytime, the streetlights are on. And when the sun goes down, the streetlights go off.
Yeah.
Because the tour guide pointed it out to us. All of Soweto, the streetlights are backwards. And I said, why? And he said, because the government can't figure out how to do it properly. And it's so depressing because the government is trying to figure out how to overcome some really harsh institutional racism. And they can't even figure out the streetlights.
Right.
And you just feel depressed like, this sucks, dude. So I don't know what to say all the time in the videos. But in the end, I would really recommend the experience.
Yeah.
The tour guide was very good. It was not just look at poor people. It was learning, and it was really well done and organized.
Yeah.
The tour guide was great. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, there's history. You learn about history. You learn about how people live. You learn a little bit about the politics here. You learn about,
Yes,
you know,
it was good tour.
yeah.
Although the worst part was the ginger beer. I gotta be honest with you, ginger beer is so bad.
I like it.
Oh,
It
God,
was so
it's
good.
bad.
I like ginger. So
I'll
it's
never like ginger beer.
good.
Now, we do finish off with lunch where they're cooking it on the fire, which
Yeah.
looks great. And I forgot the name of all the stuff, but it's all different type of stuff. We got chicken, we got cabbage, we got beef, we got bread
Yeah.
that I think is cornbread. No, it looks like cornbread, doesn't it?
I think so. And we got pap, which is maize.
Yeah, they said
and
this-
all kind of stew.
They said this is made from maize.
Yeah.
Maize to me is corn, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. It looks like mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
but it is not mashed potatoes. That's corn. It's pretty good actually.
Ah,
Just by itself. It's like not salty or buttery. It's just
Nice.
corn flavor. Very nice. And we got something that I love the name of. The one thing I remember the name. It's called chakalaka. This right here is called chakalaka.
Chakalaka.
She said it was spicy, so I'm not sure I can handle it.
It's like
But-
carrots and beans.
yeah, you too. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Chakalaka's good.
Good. Oh, you should have asked for more. She offered you. Do you want more?
I said no because it's spicy. Oh, I should got more. It's not very spicy. It's so good. I'm eating yours.
You can
That's
probably
good.
no.
Dude.
You
best
can
without the food.
you can probably ask more.
Let me go ahead and some chakalaka. What's fun to say chakalaka?
Yeah, that's
Boom
right.
chakalaka. Okay, there you have it, guys. Let's eat. This food is so good. Oh my god, it's so good. Very good.
South African
traditional
stew.
food. 5 stars. I'll be clear.
Oh,
6
Gina is asking more. Okay, more?
It's good, right? Yeah.
Okay, more.
You're smart, Gene. It's good. Okay, so we decided to come to the Apartheid Museum. And already, this is one of the most interesting, one of the most unique starts to a museum I've ever seen. This is our tickets. You notice this is my ticket. You see what it says? Mm-hmm. This is Ivana's ticket. You see what it says? Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if we're going in together.
Oh boy. Hope we won't be separated.
I mean, this is a powerful start because
Okay.
see you later. I guess Jean's coming with me.
Yeah.
She's
Sis white, I guess.
50-50, but
Let's go.
oh boy, this is sad already. That's a good exhibit, man. This is a very powerful start to a museum. I'm impressed with this. Hopefully I see you in there, but I'm impressed with this. All right, so Ivana's gone. It's just me over here. This vlog is probably gonna stink without her, but I guess on the wall is all identity cards, because part of apartheid is the government has to figure out what your color is to know where to put you. And evidently some people somehow are changing color. The whole thing is crazy. Okay, so we were not separated for very long, to be clear, just the entrance. But very powerful, no? White people on the left, non-white people on the right. Now, we're learning that one of the reasons for apartheid, there are many reasons, but one of them was because the argument was if two races mix, the children will have neither identity. You lose the identity. Which is a lot when you got a mixed race baby right here.
Right.
Who, by the way, is so happy. Try to put her in here, she's running around so happy. Pure innocence, no idea what we're reading. But let's keep going. This is a very good museum. I can already tell it's so good. That entrance, most powerful entrance to a museum I've ever been.
Africans fire, want, franchise, basis of one neighbourhood.
Do you see Africans being able to develop in this country without the Europeans being bushfied?
We have made it very clear in our policy that South Africa is the country of many races. There is room for all the various races.
Okay, so as it turns out, most of the Apartheid Museum is almost like a Nelson Mandela museum. It's mostly about Nelson Mandela, which makes sense and sort of fitting because we just left Soweto, which is where Nelson Mandela's house was.
Right.
We saw it. And interestingly enough, Desmond Tutu lived like 2 minutes walk from Nelson Mandela. Both of them came from Soweto. We're thinking there's the only street in the world that has two Nobel Peace Prize winners living almost beside each other.
Right.
Anyway, two takeaways from the museum. One, I didn't realize what Nelson Mandela looked like when he was young. I've only seen images of him when he's the president after 27 years in jail. He looks like a grandfather, very wise and peaceful. But when he was young, he was a lawyer turned activist, and his shoulders were like this wide. He looked like a rugby player.
Right.
Now, second takeaway, he did a interview in 1961. So this is during apartheid. This is when he's an activist trying to get some civil rights and end apartheid. And this is before he goes to jail for 27 years. The interviewer asked a question that I think is evidence is a totally different time. The interviewer asks, is it possible that African people, black people, can do better without white people doing worse? He's really sincerely asking with a straight face, is it possible for people of different race to get along in the same country? So I think it's evidence of what Nelson Mandela is trying to overcome, because such an ignorant question. And keep in mind, right now today, 10% or so of the population in South Africa is white. I'm not sure what it was in 1961, but the question is basically implying maybe it's better to keep 90% of people suffering at the bottom because we wouldn't want something bad to happen to the 10% on top. It's like such an ignorant question. I just couldn't believe he was really sincerely asking that. And so I think it's evidence that the 60s were a different time, especially here in South Africa.
That's right.
And so in the end, it's a pretty simple museum. Amazing entrance, and then it's just a bunch of pictures and text to read about Nelson Mandela, but I'd recommend it. It was good. And so, the journey continues here in South Africa. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shisanyama. This is a whole experience we're going to tell you about. First of all, it's like a nightclub in here. The music very loud, and so naturally, baby Jean has fallen asleep deeper than she's ever slept. The music is pumping, and baby Jean is dreaming of sugar plums or whatever. Now, first things first. Nando's was not good.
No.
It really didn't hit the spot. Every city we go, every country, you want to have a good culinary experience to be like, man, we ate that food over there, it was so good. I thought Nando's was going to be that. Nando's is fast food and not good. So I'm really glad we went to the supermarket where we discovered, first of all, biltong, which Ivana doesn't really like. Kind of crazy.
It smells like really strong meat, which is the smell right now in here.
It's biltong smells and tastes like very strong meat. The whole flavor is beef. That's the reason I like it. It's beef flavor, which by the way, this whole place smells like biltong.
Right.
The whole place in here, it smells like meat. So anyway, we also discovered braai. Now it seems like braai is a bit of a like a homemade thing. It's hard to find braai restaurants. So what this place is actually a butcher. You literally go to the next door butcher, you point to the raw meat, he weighs it like a butcher would, and then he cooks it for you and brings you it. I guess the concept here is they're trying to like show the quality of their meat, like make more sales for the butchery.
Yeah.
So they turned the butcher into a restaurant,
Right.
which is part nightclub, as you can hear.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's gonna bring in a bunch of stuff. We got chicken wings, we got brisket, short ribs, sausages. He's gonna bring it out for us. The guy working here was super helpful because he's like, what do you want? And we're like, I don't know. Well, how does it work? So super helpful guy. Let's eat braai. Boom. Ivana, what's the first thing you notice? Be honest, the first thing you notice.
Oh, the smell?
First thing I notice is it's all the same color. You ever notice it? That's just different. Usually you got chicken, you got sausage, you got beef. It becomes a different.
Okay.
I'm wondering if the marinade or the flavor on everything is the exact same.
Probably.
Is that right?
Yeah, but I smell the marination, the spices. It smells good.
The smell. That's the second thing you notice. The smell is unbelievably good. In fact, this is a kind of platter here where it's almost like this should be the thumbnail of a YouTube video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like anyone who sees that will go, oh, what's that? Looks good, right?
Looks good.
Doesn't matter if you speak English, French, or Xhosa. You look at that and you go, wow, that looks good. Maybe we'll do this, make it more colorful.
Oh.
I asked the guy, is it spicy? He goes, all the sauces are spicy. Every sauce is spicy. I go, might be going no spice. Now, we also got pap, which is corn, which they call maize, but I think it just means corn, right? Synonym. Maize and corn synonym. Into like, almost like a mashed potatoes,
Right.
but mashed corn.
Yes.
And we got chakalaka. This is the mild chakalaka, meaning not spicy. And we got spinach because Ivana likes spinach. It's probably bad. I don't like spinach. Spinach is bitter and
But
bad.
you love chocolate.
Chakalaka is so good. Chakalaka very good. Now I'm gonna eat these with my hands.
Okay. I think that's probably what the local does.
I think so because they brought over 4 wet naps, 4 of them for 2 people. I think they know. This is probably the brisket, which should be the best part, right? Interesting. Interesting.
What is it? Interesting.
And it's very good, but it's different than what you expect. It's good though.
Oh.
Wow. Wow. That's the South African way. So it's very thin, right?
Yeah.
Which is hard to make it juicy when it's that thin. It's almost not I want to say dry, but it's crispy and salty and it's very delicious. But it's not like a thick piece of steak where you have a mouthful of juice.
Right.
You wouldn't describe this as tender, but it's very good. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Like almost a bit like biltong,
Great.
but it's very good. No, it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's really good. But different than what I would be used to. Now this is short ribs. Short ribs. Wow, same. But actually very good.
Good. Or you eat it with the pop together.
I don't know if I like pop. Do I like pop?
Oh, goodness.
Look, that's why they call it pot, because it goes pop. Would you eat the same bite, like this and this?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm such a fan of meat that's been cooked on fire that when I see other stuff with it,
Good.
not bad.
With the chakalaka too. All together. Wow.
Man, chakalaka is so good. I'll be honest, chakalaka is the best South African food that I've tried. I haven't tried them all, but chakalaka, I'll be honest, chakalaka, 6 stars.
Oh, wow.
It's so good. It's curry, right? It's like a curry veggie.
It's kind of Korean, yeah.
The spicy one I can't handle, but the mild chakalaka, 6 stars. Anyway, let's give Ivana a chance to eat. Baby Jean is still sleeping, which is so convenient because we're trying to film, we're trying to eat, her hands are dirty, and she's out like a light. So let's eat, man. This is good food.
Good hot sauce.
Too hot for me, or
Put a little bit.
yeah, good idea. And so I tell you what, it's almost like there's a spectrum of grilling meat, because in Canada we have something called Rib Fest, and it is good, to be fair, but it should be called Sauce Fest, because they cover the meat in so much sauce that you really don't taste the meat at all. And the sauce is typically sweet, so it's delicious, but you don't taste the meat. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have what they quite often do in Brazil, which is meat and salt is the whole recipe. For me, I love that style. It's delicious. The thing is, in South Africa, it's kind of a good balance, because whatever they rubbed on that meat was not just salt. For sure, there's many spices in there, but you still taste the meat. So it's a good balance of flavor and just the meat. For me, I prefer the chicken wings the most. Chicken wings are 5 stars in there, so delicious, because chicken wings with the bones inside is more juicy. I wouldn't say the beef was dry, that sounds terrible. Wouldn't say it was overcooked, that sounds terrible, but it's definitely not an inch thick with a pink on the inside. You know what I mean? So for me, this was a great experience, because I feel like that was an actual South African grilling experience, so much more so than Nando's. But now we gotta run to the airport because we're flying to Rwanda literally right now. Let's go. Okay, final review of South Africa from right here in the lounge in the airport. We're about to fly to Rwanda. It was a good trip overall. Ivana says we should come back to South Africa to do a safari, Kruger National Park road trip or something when the kids are older. Would be a great idea. And to be clear, you can do safari in lots of countries in Africa, but we would do it again here because we had a good trip. The cities were so nice, and throughout the whole trip, we kept talking about safety concerns, which probably was a bit repetitive, but our experience in South Africa is a bit like United States of America, sort of comparable in that there's some stats you can check on the states that look like it's very violent and murderous, but it's not in the neighborhoods you're going to. We had a great time in Chicago, and there's the south side of Chicago where it's like incredibly violent. So same thing over here. We showed you guys our neighborhood in every single accommodation we stayed. We literally opened the door and just showed you our street, and it's a nice place, affordable for us because of our budget. Our accommodations were nice. People we met were friendly. The food was so much better than Ethiopia. It was a good trip overall. So I think one day we'll be back when the next baby is born, and we can do a road trip. The highlight for me was the road trip in Cape Town. That was so good. So I think we come back and do a road trip. With that being said, stay tuned to the next video because we're just in minutes now gonna fly to Rwanda. I'm a little tired. Are you tired? Same. No rest for the wicked. Let's go fly to Rwanda. Later.